you, another thing you can make yourself too is I don't know if any of y'all are bow fishermen too, but gosh, I got this bow 15, 20 years ago, maybe 20 bucks, 25 bucks, and you know, you just find the right bolt that goes in there, add your reel to it, you know, extend it so you can reel it in, and so it's out of the way of the arrow. And you know, it's just an old reel that, you know, quit working real well. Batteries, I mean the bearings got you know, kind of old and messed up. So works well when you want to reel in a fish just every now and again, though. So you can make your own, you know, bow hunting rig pretty easily, just by doing it this way. You just got to make sure you have enough extension. Here's zip ties around it. Thing works great. So you might want to try that. Well, you know, I don't know if I can think of anything else. We get asked some of these questions sometimes, and just want to kind of talk about getting your John boat all set up the way. Yeah, you also need yourself a archery target to keep it higher. Yeah, I don't like wasting much space. I like everything to have a function, or two functions anyway, so that's one of them. But yeah, you know, that's the way to do it. You can rig up a John boat. You can find these things used all day long, you know, with a decent engine, with the trailer and everything, for under $1,500. I know it's a lot of money sometimes, but you know, brand new, this setup will set you back probably $3,500, which is still cheap compared to getting yourself some sort of flats boat or something like that. I mean, I catch as much fish as those guys in the $50,000 boats, so, you know, is the idea to catch fish, or what is it? You know, I don't know, but that's my idea when I go out there. But here you go. You know, that's the setup. Aluminum John boat, the way to go. And that's it. I hope I answered everybody's questions that asked me these kind of things about how we fish and what we fish on and where we fish at. But yeah, so that's it. Oh, I just remembered something else I wanted to talk about when you're maintaining these things. You know, getting these bearings and stuff put back on. You know, these days you can get these bearings that are already packed and put together. Now this one isn't. You know, I just take it down to you know, the trailer place, and they pack it for you and everything. So all you do is just slide it on and put the dust cap on, and you're done. So you don't have to worry about, you know, having that round thing to tap it down. And I don't have a rubber mallet. I don't have any of that stuff. But you can get these things already good to go, set up for you. I suggest doing it. Maybe an extra $5, and it'll save you an hour's worth of work. Keeping those things maintained, because they'll pack it right. They'll use that good grease instead of the cheap stuff that I'll probably use, and maybe you use too, I don't know. But that's the last thing you want to do, is get stranded on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere because you didn't do your bearings right. And I've already done it wrong twice and been stranded on the side of the road, so I speak from experience. So definitely get the ones that are already put together and sealed if you can. And if you can't, have the guy at the trailer shop, you know, wherever you go get your bearings from, you know, and they'll go ahead and hook you up with that, because that is the way to go. And you should change those things out at least every couple years, depending on how, you know, how much you use the boat. You know, if you use it 10 times in a year, I don't think you got to worry about that. But if you're going to use it 50 times in a year, well, you definitely need to, you know, make sure that, because you don't want to not get the fish because you're sitting on the side of the road sweating to death. But yeah, that's another one of those things I meant to talk about and I forgot. Oh, and there's another one too. You know, make sure you get yourself extra bulbs for your trailer lights. You know, back in the back. Put them in your dry box, because that's another thing. You know, you're leaving your best fishing spot late at night and you got a tail light out. You don't want the cops pull you over or anything. You know, so it's pretty simple. All you do is slide them right on in there. So, you know, you have $5 worth of backup bulbs, and then you're all set. So, yeah, forgot to talk about that. But that's about it, I think, this time. This time for real. Well, I just thought of something else, too. Here's another little rig you can rig up. You know, you just get yourself PVC. You cut them in half here. You get these little brackets. They're a couple bucks at Home Depot, Walmart, whatever. Bolt them in at a side. Make sure these aren't long enough where they poke through your cooler. Now, this isn't something you want to do to actually catch fish. This is if you're camping on an island or something, so you can just throw your rods in there real quick, all your beer or whatever's in here, and you take them off up to your campsite. So it's a heck of a lot easier way to do it. I have used them for rod holders, you know, as long as you got a tree or something, and all you do is if you bungee this thing to the tree, then a big fish isn't going to spill all your beer or whatever, you know, that you have inside your cooler, you know, when you're out there camping. So you really this is just a rod carrier more than a rod holder, but yeah, if you do decide you want to use it as a rod holder, it's real easy. You know, I mean, if you're sitting on it the whole time, you know, that's fine too, but a nice fish anyway, is going to go just like this. And you don't want that to happen, but this is a real cheap setup. I suggest doing it because it just helps. When you're carrying a bunch of stuff to your campsite or whatever you're doing on some island in the middle of nowhere for your fishing trip, last thing you want to do is have more stuff that's harder to carry when you got to carry all your supplies in the first place. So yeah, that's just another idea that I meant to talk to you about and I forgot about. So there you go. Way to set up your oh yeah, and caulk these in there too, because caulk, you know, is really strong once you get in there, and that way these don't just slip right through. So I put a little bit of caulk in here underneath the brackets, and these things are strong as you can believe, you know, so that'll work. Just do that. You know, these handles always break, so you want to rig something up like this, you know, just string, piece of PVC pipe, strong string going through there, and yeah, gotta have a bottle opener. But yeah, that's another one of those things I meant to tell you about. And let's face it, going fishing without beer is kind of like bowling without beer, right? You kind of need beer for all those things. Oh, that's it. And if you haven't done these stand-up paddle boards yet, you should really check it out. I'm not talking stand-up paddle boards for riding waves or anything like that, but you know, having a real stable platform to fish from. My buddy Mike, he owns Bird Products down there in, I forget which one. It's either Delray Beach or Deerfield Beach. One of those two, I don't know. But he shapes all of my surfboards for me. You know, there's a longboard, my shortboard's in the house, and I asked him to make some stand-up paddle boards for my girlfriend and me, and my specs were, look, it's got to be able to handle someone fishing from it, so a real stable platform. Wanted to have be stable enough where you could put a case of beer on the front and a cooler and ice, and you know, not fall over, and but it be light enough where you could you know, carry it. So these things weigh, you know, I bump into a lot of stuff, so I just have to refiberglass them, well, basically constantly, but that's my fault. You probably won't be as clumsy as me. But the things are 12 feet 6 inches long. They weigh roughly 40 pounds. You know, a little more now that I've had to put so much extra fiberglass to them. But these things are great, especially if you want to recon, you know, a fishing spot. So you've seen this mud flat or whatever it is, and it's you know, it's real skinny water, and you want to see, you know, if it holds any fish, if anything's reds or anything are up there sunning themselves. Well, these things are great because you can go in that water, you know, you just pull the skegs off of them, you know, so there's no fin on the bottom here, and you can get in 6 inches of water, no problem. and see exactly what you want to do. They're real easy. They're real portable. You got your little strap here. Pick them up, hold them over your head. You're all good. I'm telling you, these things are great. If you haven't tried fishing from them, you should, because they are really versatile tool for fish finding. Yeah, I like them a lot. So stand-up paddle boards, but not for surfing, for fishing. Give it a go if you got the money. They're kind of pricey. I think these were like 800 bucks a piece or something like that. So they might be even a little more. I don't remember. It was, you can tell it was a long time ago we got these. They're pretty beat up, but you got tie downs everywhere for to tie down all your stuff. So your tackle box, your cooler, whatever. You get yourself a dry bag for all your stuff that can't get wet. I'm telling you, if you haven't done one of these, if you haven't done this, try it. It's not real hard. Anybody can basically do it when you have a big, thick enough platform like this. Like I always say, it's like a canoe that you stand up in instead of sit down. So check them out. So when you're getting your paddles for your paddle board, we got these online. We had I guess a little too much to drink one time. We went out with these, and what do you know, we forgot them at the dock, the first set of these we had, and they were great. They were adjustable. These are adjustable. So if your friends want to do it or whatever, you get tall, medium, whatever it is, however big the people are, these will work for you. They're adjustable. But these will actually fill with water. So take one of those little water wieners or whatever you call them. They're like $2 at Walmart. So to make these float. So you have them up here so they're out of the water. But when you're choosing your paddle for these paddle boards, I think it's a good idea to have it adjustable, unless you're the only one that wants to fish off of it or whatever you're going to do on it. And also make sure that they float. Some of them say they float, but they don't float. So you might have to add yourself a little something on there just to make sure. And these things can be ridiculously expensive. There's carbon fiber, this and whatever. You can find these things for like $100 bucks. So for two. So make sure you look around if you decide to do the the whole paddleboard fishing thing, or paddleboard in general. Because I like getting on these paddleboards sometime and just going and scouting out new areas that are super skinny water, and decide if I can get the John boat up in there. So it's a neat way, kind of a recon type tool, for hardcore fishermen. But just want to let you know that, because there's a lot of difference between these paddles. These are great paddles. I like them, but just saying, if they don't float too well, you can just add yourself a little water weenie to them, or whatever those things are called, and get the adjustable ones too, because when you got friends in town, you want to take them all out, make sure you get adjustable. Alright, well, here's another idea for you as far as keeping your baits alive all night. These little bubblers for an aquarium, you get them at Walmart or wherever. I don't know. I guess they're like $6, $7, whatever. We all have our bait buckets with our little bubblers, battery operated bubblers that we use. But the bottom line is this: you gotta keep your bait alive all night, because most of the time these bait stores are not going to open up until 5:30 or 6, and if you're anything like me, you're already at the ramp as the sun's coming up in the morning, so you don't have time to go get get all your stuff ahead of time, so you get it the day before. So the key is temperature with these guys. So you just get yourself a bucket, here's my bucket, and you get your shrimp or whatever, and or even net some greenies, pilchards, whatever you want to do, pinfish, and all you're going to do is throw them in here, keep your bubbler, get it hooked up, and you can run this all night. So then when you got to leave in the morning, you take it out and you switch over to the battery powered part of the equation. You know, these things, I think you get these and this top at Walmart or these fishing stores. I think it's $12, $14. I don't remember. But they're kind of a must-have. You want to have some live bait in there. But the key to keeping alive is temperature. So you can't leave this in your garage. You gotta take this and put it in your house, in your kitchen, or wherever, so it doesn't get too hot or get too cold and kill your fish, or your shrimp, or whatever it is. So, you know, your wife, girlfriend, significant other, whatever, might not want a bunch of fish in your house with a bubbler, but if you really need to get up and catch that early bite, especially if you're doing it like I am before work usually, you need to have your bait ready to rock before you know, for the next day, before you even go out to go do some fishing. So that's just another little helpful tip. It's worth the $7. You know, we already have all this stuff anyways, but this right here is definitely worth it. You definitely want to get yourself one of these aquarium aerators to keep all your bait alive. Here's another way to, another little tip. I hate the sun, you know. I get sunburned all the time, so I've been wearing these big, huge hats probably since high school, so for a real long time. They cover really well, and they're usually pretty cheap. You know, you can get these things. I buy them a few at a time, as you can see from my little hat rack up here, and they're usually about $9 or $10. Home Depot sells them, fishing stores, you know, you can get them just about anywhere, but they rot. And let's face it, if you're fishing in Florida, you're going to get rained on. So these guys are going to rot pretty easily because they're just made out of palm or whatever they weave these things out of. So the first thing I do when I get a new hat, I varnish it. So I just get out there and I just paint the whole thing with varnish. Just all over the place. Inside, outside, just varnish these things. And I'm telling you what, I mean, it's almost hard like a football helmet, but it's real comfortable on your head, and these guys are going to last a heck of a lot longer. So just take a little bit of varnish, it's clear, you slap it on there, you know, it adds a few ounces to the weight, but, you know, what do you care, it's just a couple of ounces, and one of these bad boys like this will probably last, with hardcore fishing, you know, 5-6 years now, versus a year or two of hardcore fishing without the lacquer. So, you know, just another poor man's way to make your stuff last a little bit longer. But all you do is you lacquer them up, let them dry, lacquer it up on the inside, let it dry. Boom, you got yourself a hat that, you know, might even go longer. It depends on how much you fish, you know. I fish all the time, so they don't last me that long. But, you know, you're talking 5-6 years for me. You know, if you don't fish that much, it might last you 10 years. Who knows? But that's a great way to do it as far as keeping your hat alive and not rotting and growing mushrooms out of it after it gets wet. So that's just another way to do it.